Okay, well, continuing to work on this, I did just disconnect the speedometer, and I forgot to turn the camera on when I was doing this, but basically the speedometer sat here, and this cable routed around the back and through the frame right here, and it came out into a connection point. There's a black connector on the back side. So I was able first to disconnect this red connector. Well, first there's a green connector that goes to the lights up top. I disconnected that. Then there's a red connector that goes, I think, to the turn signal. Disconnected that, and then I could get to the connector for the speedometer. I was able to pop that loose and then take that out. So that's off. Also, was able to remove the headlight, and I'd already taken that loose a couple of days ago. What you will find on the headlight is at the back there is a 3-prong connector that just pulls straight off. So I was able to get in there with a screwdriver and pry that off. So got the headlight and the speedometer off. Now we want to look at removing the handlebar. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to take the nut off, and I'm just going to lay these handlebars up on top of the frame, and that should work fine. And then we'll disconnect the stem bearing assembly and look at replacing that. So in order to do this, I think it may be easier to try my trusty impact wrench. Let's see if that works. Here we go. Quick and easy. So that might have come off just fine without an impact wrench, but it certainly makes it easy. So I'll take that and take the washer off and this nut and set it aside. And I think this part of the assembly should just lift straight up. And it does. And we'll just take that and just lay it right there. And I think that should be okay. I may get a towel and put it under it just so I don't scrape anything. But that now gets me exposed to these two nuts. That we'll get these guys removed, and I should be able to get to the bearings and the stems. Okay. So I'm changing the camera angle here so you can see what I'm doing. There's a couple things I've got to deal with here. My thought up to this point has been that I was going to replace these bearings, because replace the bearings thinking that the problem or that when whatever lick the bike took that twisted these front forks around, it hit it hard enough that you can see this stop right here that's supposed to stop the forks. Forks are supposed to stop right here, but whatever lick it took, it's bent and deformed and sheared that stop back a good 1/8 of an inch, and so that needs to be repaired. And so I think to repair that, I'm gonna have to get in here and grind this off. I'm gonna grind this away, cut this away, and then weld a new stop in place so that this will stop where it should be. But I'm questioning whether I need to replace these bearings. I have them, I bought them. Maybe I should just go on and do it while I'm here and have it open. But these bearings feel perfectly fine. But in as much as I'm here, I may go on and replace them. But I do need to fix this. So, but I think even before I fix this, I will go ahead and take this stem out and look at it and inspect it, and then that will let me get at this stop, and then we'll be in pretty good shape. On this assembly, in order to remove it, there is 2 nuts that have to come off. And on these nuts, there's a little metal plate with some retaining features in it that are holding these in place. So you can see that this one on the back side, there's a little feature right there that in order to get that nut off, you have to just take that and bend that little retaining plate. So I'm doing that. You can do that with a flathead screwdriver. It's really not bad. So that's been out. And I'm going to do the other one that's opposite it. And that out. And so supposedly you need to replace those. I really don't know why, but that's actually kind of loose, and I think this is going to come right off. So go ahead and spin this guy off. And there we go. And I'll set that aside. We'll remove the retainer. Set that aside, and you can see that it has these little features that also lock in the slots for the down spot there, and then you bend these up when you get the other nut tightened into it. So we'll take that off, and then we'll see what we have to do to get this guy off. I think maybe if I just take my hand, yeah, that's coming off easy, and just bump it. You can use a spanner wrench on that if you like. I don't have one of those handy, but that's coming off just fine. So, and I think as I'm doing that, my stem assembly was dropping. So let's take this off. Be careful not to damage anything. And I think we should be about free, and we are. So this will come out. I will take this and set it aside with the others. And now this stem assembly, well, before I do that, let's make sure I've got my parts here. There's a seal and a bearing. Well, I say a seal and a bearing. The bearing's down under there. There's a little flat plate here. There's another little part here. Those go like so. And then I see the bearing down in there. And this is now ready to drop out. So I'm going to do that now and try not to damage these bearings. I want to look at them and get an idea what kind of shape they're in, because this is what I'm thinking about replacing. Wow, that comes out really easy. This is clean looking. I'll go ahead and take this bearing out and just set it down on top. And with this, I'm just going to spend a little energy inspecting. And I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back. That really came apart far easier than I expected that it would. So here's the inner race where those ball bearings sat, and just to show and explain how that works. Those bearings sit in here and rotate like so. Actually, I think it went the other way because they were in an up position. They went that way, and they just sit in here, and this is what these guys rotate around, and that's what takes the load of the steering assembly. So my concern was that with this thing taking the lick that it did, that might be good to replace these guys. That maybe they were damaged. Maybe could have been, these balls could have been dented. Maybe. I don't know, maybe there was damage to the raceway. So I'm going to just kind of look at this and see what we have. And I have new parts, and I can put them on there, but I'm not really sure that's necessary. These guys do not appear. I don't see any damage whatsoever. I see maybe just a smidgen of wear, just a tiny bit, a spot or two, but not much. Not enough that I would worry about it. I'm going to go down here and look at this bottom. And I don't see anything that really looks concerning. I don't see rust. I don't see damage of any sort. I've been working on the speedometer a little bit, and well, if you look at it, you can see that the bracket from the whatever happened is all bent up, and this side of the speedometer was bent up. This has been up. I did check it yesterday or a day or two ago to make sure that that the needle will move. So I think that it's okay. I know when it's plugged up it will light up, so electrical side of it's good. So what I've been doing is getting under here with the screwdriver and prying up to be able to get off the plastic. So I've marred the plastic a little bit. You couldn't help that, but I don't think you'll see it once it's put back together. But there's nothing wrong with the speedometer. I haven't tampered with the speedometer. The little lever over here is broken off. I think I've seen online I can buy a new one of those, so I'll look to buy that. Not sure what to do about this little rim, but I really do want to use this speedometer if I can. So I just took the screws off the back, and now I'm going to attempt to... Interesting. So I'm not sure why that came off. What was that to see? Huh. Well, that's interesting. Well, so so I didn't get to see exactly how that mounts, but I assume. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I do see how that mounts. Those screws I took out go right through this. Okay, cool. So I can take this, and I can take a hammer, and I can fix this, or I can buy a replacement bracket. Now, one thing I can't easily fix is the bottom of this plastic housing is cracked, but I think the speedometer works okay. So I think what I will likely do is I'll come in and I'll patch this up with some silicone. I'll sand this down a little bit so that it looks better, and I'll patch this up with silicone so that it works. But I think I'd like to reuse this if I can at all. So I think that may be a good thing. So, and I guess I could have taken this off. Wasn't thinking. Could have taken this cable off while I was working on that. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Set it down. Okay, so making a little progress. I think I can take a hammer and a punch or something, anvil, and I'll work on this. I can improve this a lot. So, oh, and also, just for the record, see if I can get this where you can see it. But this speedometer has exactly 6,605 miles showing on it. I think you can see that. Let me re-angle here, get in front of the light. As I showed you earlier, this the speedometer was all busted up, and well, not busted up, but all bent up and didn't mount right. So what I was able to do was able to take it apart, and was this cover is still a little bit bent, and I may do some more work on it yet to try to smooth out where there's a dent down underneath. You can't really see this easily once it's mounted, but there is a dent there, and there's still a dent on the rim. But I've been able to basically take the bracket out, flatten it out, get it where I think it's going to mount straight, and I think I can reuse this speedometer and with minor damage. So that's good, and that'll keep the mileage right, and I think that'll be good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the headlight cover and see if I can work that a little bit too. Actually, I think I have a pretty good probability of getting this bent back into a good shape. So I found the screw socket that works on the little screws that go in here. I'm going to take this guy apart and go take it over to my bench and put it in the vise a little bit, do a little bending and a little banging, and see if I can get this in better shape.